It's the Christmas season again, and time to dig up another obscure holiday classic. This time I'm going to be kind of morbid and take on Black Christmas, a really fucked up horror film released in 1974 and directed by Bob Clark. He's more well known for directing the 1983 comedy A Christmas Story. You know, that funny little offbeat movie about the kid who wants the BB gun for Christmas.
No, I want an officer red undercover knife and 200 rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
So Bob Clark, early in his career, dabbled in the horror genre. Didn't everybody? Oliver Stone, Robert Wise, Ridley Scott, Peter Jackson, Francis Ford Coppola, Sam Raimi, Steven Spielberg. Actors like Steve McQueen, Christopher Lee, Jack Nicholson, Clint Eastwood, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Bacon, Johnny Depp, Jennifer Aniston, Renee Zellweger. Gee, that's a fun game. Black Christmas tells the tale of girls in a sorority house who are being stalked by an insane killer. The killer hides in the attic and makes nasty phone calls.
Suck my juicy cock.
Let me lick your pretty piggy cunt. I'll stick my tongue up your pretty pussy.
Pretty big cunt.
For 1974, that's some pretty foul language. Who's on the phone? Regan from The Exorcist?
Your mother sucks cocks in hell, Paris.
In fact, The Exorcist came out in 1973, a year before Black Christmas. Don't know if that's significant, but it is similar to have a creepy voice speaking in obscenities.
Fuck him! Fuck him, Paris!
The movie is low budget and dated, but it's heavy on atmosphere. The soundtrack is eerie, and the noises the killer makes are horrifying. The characters are mostly all disposable. You just wait for them to get killed. But there are some memorable ones. There's Margot Kidder, better known as Lois Lane in the Superman movies. She's fun to watch.
God damn you!
Basically, she just goes around trash talking and being a drunken bitch, and she really has quite the potty mouth.
I don't give a shit about Mr. Harris!
You fucking creep!
John Saxon plays a lieutenant, fresh off his role in Enter the Dragon. He doesn't have much to do, but his presence is felt. Then we have Marion Waldman as the house mother, who's always getting drunk. She hides liquor in a book in the toilet. She's a complete mess.
Bitch.
There's a lot of cursing in this movie, isn't there?
Ho, 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 fuck. Ho, 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 shit.
Now, this movie is often referred to as the first slasher movie, and I know why, but it is debatable, so let's dissect this notion a bit. In a general sense, a slasher movie implies the act of slashing. It's the way the villain kills his victims, most typically with a knife or a sharp instrument. Hitchcock's immortal Psycho from 1960 has the first famous stabbing scene, extremely graphic for its time. In 1968, from Night of the Living Dead, we also have a stabbing, this time with more bloodshed. In 1970, Scars of Dracula, we have yet another stabbing, this time in color. So Black Christmas was certainly not the first in this regard. More specifically, a slasher film is a movie with a psychopathic killer and a body count. Again, we can go back to Psycho. It most definitely has a psychopathic killer and a body count, even if it's a small one. 1974, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The villain uses a hammer and a chainsaw, killing many unsuspecting victims. Definitely a body count if you ask me. This movie was only released 10 days before Black Christmas. So, okay, it wasn't the first movie to have a killer and a body count, but what about the details, the conventions, and stylistic elements? Well, there's the stalking camera. It definitely uses that a lot. It's when the camera stalks around, showing us the killer's perspective. Huge cliche, imitated in countless slasher flicks, like the Friday the 13th films, and parodied by Joe Bob Briggs.
What's this rustling? What is that rustling noise? What's going on over... Oh, for goodness sake. It's the subjective camera!
But did Black Christmas invent the stalking camera? Not exactly. Let's go back to 1960 again with Peeping Tom. In this film, the killer's making a movie of all his murders. It uses POV shots extensively, However, this time it literally is supposed to be the camera because the victims are being filmed by the killer as they're being killed. There are many other cliches in Black Christmas, like the phone call scenes. The killer always calls his victims. It's been parodied all the way up to Scream.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
You can trace it back way further than Black Christmas, like the 1963 Italian Mario Bava film, The Three Faces of Fear, otherwise known in English-speaking regions as Black Sabbath.
Ma chi è al telefono? Chi parla?
Lo saprai un attimo prima di morire. Vedo il tuo corpo stupendo, le tue braccia morbide, le tue gambe perfette. No, non coprirti. Per un corpo come il tuo si fanno pazzie. Io t'ucciderò.
The victims are in a secluded spot and are usually being bad in some way. All future slasher films have the same scenario, whether it's babysitters in Halloween or camp counselors in Friday the 13th. It became very formula-based. You can easily recognize all the elements of a slasher film. You can trace most of these elements back to different movies like the Mario Bava films Blood and Black Lace from 1963 and Twitch of the Death Nerve from 1971, or if you really want to go back, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari from 1920. But even though Black Christmas may not have been the first to invent all these different elements, it was the first to take all the ingredients and throw it into one. Then Halloween came along in 1978 and adopted the same formula. Then everybody else ripped off Halloween and the slasher genre was born. It's obvious that Halloween was inspired by it, right from the opening scene with the POV shot approaching the house. In fact, on the Black Christmas DVD, there's a Q&A with Bob Clark. He says he was working with John Carpenter on a film, and Carpenter expressed that he was very much a fan of Black Christmas and asked if Clark was going to do a sequel, and this is what he had to say.
And John said, well, if you did do it, what would it be? And I said, well, I would have it that the killer was caught. It's later that year, the next fall, and he has escaped, and he's going back to the sorority house, and I'm going to call it Halloween. So I think John, he loved the movie, and I believe he was influenced some by it, but he did not copy my movie, and Halloween is entirely John Carpenter's, and it's one of the greats of its kind.
Think about it. The guy who made A Christmas Story, one of the most popular Christmas movies of all time, was the guy to kickstart the slasher genre. It may seem like the polar opposite, but A Christmas Story isn't exactly the cheeriest Christmas movie either.
Hey, kid, hurry up, the store's closing.
Oh, damn nipples! Bang, gunk, stinking crisp!
One thing original about Black Christmas that hasn't been copied much is that the killer has no identity, no face, nothing you can actually grasp and see. While there is a suspect, you never find out who it really is. All slasher movies to follow banked on the whole concept of showing the killer and just putting a mask on him. That's the part they took from the other 1974 film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Slasher films made their business on making a star out of their killers. Audiences cheer for Leatherface, Michael Myers, and Jason Voorhees. Keeping the villain in Black Christmas so secret is the one thing it's done that's still unique. Oh, it's Christmas. What a good time to have a horror movie lecture, right? Well, speaking of Christmas, it was also the forerunner of the holiday slasher flick. Since then, they must have taken every holiday in existence and made a horror film out of it. Valentine's Day, April Fool's Day, Easter, even Memorial Day, not to mention Eli Roth's Thanksgiving trailer, which perfectly spoofed the whole concept.
Thanksgiving.
Of course, that was from the theatrical double feature of Grindhouse. Thanks for leaving those trailers off the DVDs, you fucking douchebags. Now, of course, Black Christmas wasn't the first Christmas horror movie. There was Silent Night, Bloody Night, which was released earlier that same year, 1974. And before that, in 1972, there was the Tales from the Crypt movie, which had the original Christmas episode. You could probably trace it back forever, and of course it's been done countless times since. There is Christmas Evil, Silent Night, Deadly Night, and the list goes on and on. But originally, it must have taken some balls to take a merry, joyous holiday which people hold so sacred and then splattered in blood. There was a remake of Black Christmas, but I never saw it. So if you want to see one of the first Christmas horror movies, check it out. But if you're a big gore hound looking for something exciting, it might not be the movie for you. It's very slow, and I think its history and significance is more interesting than the film itself. But if you're up for something real creepy and disturbing, give it a watch.
I'll stick my tongue up your pretty pussy.